I am here with an interesting topic which is not a part of your academics with most of the universities, but at the same time a very important topic to know just before getting into the industry, just because irrespective of which company you are going to join, irrespective of which field you are going to join, irrespective of in which country you are going to join, this is applicable everywhere. This is ISO for you. And knowing this is always an added advantage for your interviews. And if you are a fresher, it's always important to know something about the industry apart from your academics. I am Srilal. Welcome to another video. I am here to take you through the basics of ISO and making it easier for you to learn more and more about ISO. This is an important aspect when it comes to the business relationship. There is something called as business relationship. Means a particular company is always depend on other companies as well in order to get their product successfully to the market. Making it clear with an example. When you consider buying a smartphone, the smartphone manufacturer is not actually manufacturing all the components inside. Instead, they buy it from outside and assemble everything and sell it to you. They buy the camera from a different company, they buy the sensor from a different company, and they buy the battery from a different company. And the company from where they are buying these parts is termed as their suppliers. It's like, he's my camera supplier, he's my sensor supplier, he's my battery supplier. And each and every company, they have their own procedure in order to select a supplier. Because always there are so many suppliers available for any given product. And even though they have all their set of procedures, the first thing as a basic requirement what they see is that whether the supplier is ISO certified or not. What is so important? So when a supplier is ISO certified, it indirectly communicates that they are able to meet the customer needs and expectations. At the same time, following the statutory and regulatory requirement. What are statutory and regulatory requirement? Both these requirements are something which is required by the law of a country. It becomes a statutory requirement when the government issues a law. And it becomes a regulatory requirement when a regulatory body appointed by the government issues a certain law. So what is ISO? International Organization for Standardization. So is it ISO or IOS? When I say International Organization for Standardization, ISO is not an acronym. It's a term derived from a Greek word called isos, meaning equal. So ISO is an international standard setting body with headquarters is in Geneva, Switzerland, with more than 160 countries as their members. With a standard body from each country representing that particular country. Making it clear with another example, you might have heard about BIS. A BIS hallmark? Bureau of Indian Standards. It's a standard body in India. So BIS represents India in ISO. You might have heard about ANSI, ANSI, American National Standards Institute. ANSI represents United States in ISO. And for the same reason, when you consider a membership of more than 160 countries, the standards issued by ISO are termed as international standards, and this is applicable or accepted worldwide. So ISO is world's largest developer of voluntary standards, and it facilitates the world trade by providing common standards. So if a company from one country wants to trade with a company from another country, how will they trust them when the standards are different in different countries? This is through ISO. So following the ISO standards always helps the company to increase the productivity and reduce the errors and reduce the waste. So who issues the certificate? ISO is not issuing any certificates. They just issue the standards to be followed. The certificates are issued by other independent private certification bodies. And these are some of them. And these certification bodies should be a member in IAF, International Accreditation Forum. Please note these terms so that you can search them later. And the process of certification is not a very simple thing. It involves an auditor from the certification body visits the company and checks their process thoroughly to ensure that they follow everything as per the standard set by the ISO. Most of the major companies has their dedicated department to take care of ISO process. If it is an engineering company of your branch and if you are interested in this, and there are a lot of opportunities in the ISO department, that also involves an internal auditor. An internal auditor audits each department to ensure that they are prepared when an external auditor comes for an audit. So what basically ISO does is they issue a document which is called as a standard, and the requirement should be mentioned inside these standards. And there are so many standards. For example, ISO 9001 for quality management system, ISO 14001 for environment management system, ISO 31000 for risk management system, ISO 27000 for the information security management system. Out of all these, if I have to pick one for my next video, that should be ISO 9001 2015, which is for quality management system of an organization. Just because any product you're trying to buy, the first thing what you see is of course the cost, but at the same time you don't want to compromise on quality as well. Sometimes you are ready to pay even a little bit more for the quality. So let's wait for the next video with ISO 9001. Thank you very much. Kindly subscribe and ask your friends to subscribe as well. This will help them in so many ways. Thank you.